So Joe Biden snapped at a reporter. Why do I feel like I've said this headline before? Let's take a look at the clip from yesterday.
Well, yesterday you said you accepted Bernie's apology and now you're attacking him. Why are you doing that? Why wasn't his apology enough, Mr. Vice President?
Right this way, sir.
Why attack Sanders?
Why? You're getting nervous, man. Just calm down. It's okay. He apologized for saying that I was corrupt. He didn't say anything about whether or not I was telling the truth about Social Security.
Thank you guys.
Did you see the look on the reporter's face? What a mood. What a mood. What is wrong with this Joe Biden dude? Every time someone gets in his face, and I don't mean physically, I mean figuratively, and asks him a tough question, he loses it. And this is not the first time we've seen this kind of behavior. When I saw Joe Biden snaps, I was like, wait, what do you mean? Again? For the fifth time? You see this a lot, especially with women. Whenever a young lady or a woman in general gets to Joe Biden and asks him a question, whether it's on climate change or healthcare, any tough question that he's uncomfortable being asked, he starts wagging his finger in their faces and treating them like they're children, I think that's pretty sexist. Not Bernie Sanders, okay? You see the difference here? The real sexist is someone like Joe Biden who treats women like they're children and starts shouting in their faces and wagging his finger in their faces. I mean, you shouldn't be treating children like that either, but he has such a little respect for women that he thinks it's appropriate to treat them in that manner just because they asked him a reasonable but tough question on his record. This is the thing with Joe Biden. You bring up his record and it's considered an attack because of how bad his record is. That says a lot. And so this didn't surprise me, I just don't see that as very presidential behavior. Now, of course, I'm not perfect either. No one is. If I had reporters in my face all day, I'd probably get pissed off as well. But just let's contrast a second because we're choosing. I mean, you guys are choosing. I can't vote. But you're choosing from a palette of candidates. And of course, this is not the most important quality you're looking for in a candidate, how they speak to reporters or how they answer questions, but it's very telling. And I just don't see Bernie Sanders yelling in a reporter's face. I just don't. I've never seen that, and I don't think you will ever see that. Even when they are really rude to him. You remember that time Alex Jones, who, whether you consider him a reporter or not, but we're talking about the aspect of someone getting in your face and getting on your nerves. You remember that time where Alex Jones chased Bernie around LAX, I think? He was some airport, and he just wouldn't leave him alone. Bernie Sanders didn't say a word, man. And Alex Jones can be really, really annoying and get under your skin. You're in a crowded place in an airport, and Alex Jones is harassing you. What is that, man? So I've never seen Bernie Sanders lose his cool, and I think that's very telling. And yes, we love Bernie Sanders, so I'm always going to compare anyone else to him, because he is the prime candidate. So this is just ridiculous. The poor reporter, man, he asked them the right question. So now I want to get to the meat. I want to get to what he was saying. You guys remember I did a video before yesterday about Bernie Sanders apologizing to Joe Biden. What did he apologize about? Joe Biden underlined that here very clearly. Bernie Sanders apologized, or what's her name? Zafir Teachout, the woman who wrote that article in The Guardian. She called Joe Biden corrupt, okay? And Bernie Sanders went and apologized for that article because in his view, Joe Biden isn't corrupt. Okay, let's all be nice to each other. Let's play nice. But 24 hours later, not even, Joe Biden puts out an ad attacking Bernie Sanders. Do you see why it's pointless to play nice with these people? What do I keep saying to you, Bernie? Stop trying to play nice because they will not. This infuriates me. Let's take a look at that ad real quick, all right?
As Democrats, we can't launch dishonest attacks against fellow Democrats. We have to beat Donald Trump. Now Bernie's campaign has unleashed a barrage of negative attacks on Joe Biden. They've even accused Joe Biden of supporting Paul Ryan's cuts to Social Security. Bernie's campaign is not telling the truth. Joe Biden has repeatedly voted to save Social Security. He and President Obama beat back Republican attempts to privatize it. And in 2012, Joe Biden even said he didn't support those cuts to Paul Ryan.
We will be no part of a voucher program or the privatization of Social Security.
Biden's plan protects Social Security and will increase benefits. Bernie's negative attacks won't change the truth. Joe Biden is still the strongest Democrat to beat Donald Trump.
You see that? And the goddamn irony of Joe Biden saying that, oh, Bernie Sanders is being negative. You just launched the first negative Democratic ad of the campaign. You, Joe Biden. Unbelievable. They flip the world on its head and then try to make you believe their lies. You know? This is 1984, man. Anyway, let's look at the statement by Faiz Shakir, Bernie's campaign manager, in response to this ad by Joe Biden. So Joe Biden just released the first negative campaign ad of the 2020 Democratic primary. And let's be clear why. He's trying to distort his decades-long record of proposing and voting for cuts to Social Security benefits for millions of people. Joe Biden is no defender of Social Security, and a negative ad won't help him outrun his record. Exactly. And by the way, you see how they're mincing words in that ad? They're saying that, oh, Joe Biden was opposed to privatizing Social Security. Yeah, privatizing Social Security is not the same as cutting funding to Social Security and gutting programs in Social Security. Do you understand? Those are two completely different things. So, as usual, they use double speak, they mince words, they try to sugarcoat and, smoke and mirrors to confuse people. Of course, it's politics. You see how they will attack Bernie no matter what he does, even when he goes and apologizes, it's never good enough. He shouldn't even have apologized, because everything Teachout wrote in her article in The Guardian was, it was perfect. Facts, facts, facts. When you state that Joe Biden is getting money from XYZ, that's a fact. That's public record. You can look that up. There's nothing wrong about stating that. And that is corruption. God damn it. If taking bribes from corporations isn't corruption, then what the f*** is? So he shouldn't have apologized. Bernie Sanders should never have apologized for that article by Teachout. He should be using it and plastering it in people's faces, because when you bring up Joe Biden's record, they see him for the fraud and the corrupt sack of crap that he is. So that's number one. And just as I said, even when Bernie Sanders plays nice, what does it bring him? Not even a day later, Joe Biden is attacking him. I mean, what the hell, man? You can't win. You can't win by playing nice. You need to go on the offensive, because the way these people play, they know that if you bring up their record, they're screwed. So they're going to attack you and say that you're lying. No. Don't apologize. Don't back down. Don't let them have the upper hand. Don't give them the spotlight. They're going to screw you over. They're going to screw you over, Bernie. You can't let them do this. There's no more time left. There's no more time. And there are some of you who say, well, look, Bernie Sanders, he's polling really well. He's getting the most donations. He's doing all these great things, without having to get his hands dirty. Okay, that may be true. And some of you are saying that for voters who are on the fence, being negative might dissuade them from coming over to the Bernie camp. They might go, oh, Bernie Sanders is being too negative. I don't like that. I'm going to whoever else. That may be true, but I think that by exposing the corruption of other politicians, you will attract more people than the ones you are going to dissuade. That's what I think. Because Bernie Sanders' entire message is anti-corruption, going against the big banks, against big pharma. That's why he's popular, because he is so out of the ordinary. He's not like the other politicians. So he should contrast that. It's not being negative. When you tell people that Joe Biden is a corrupt sack of crap, that's a fact. He has taken money from the credit card industry, from the healthcare industry. He has been trying to cut Social Security. These are facts. We have them on video. I showed you a compilation of Joe Biden talking about how he wants to gut Social Security. That's not an attack. You don't have to say a single word. You don't need any commentary. Just show it to people. That's it. Man, I wish Bernie Sanders would put out an ad like that. Not a word, no narration. Just Joe Biden saying he wants to cut Social Security. That's it. Not a word. Well, it looks like my wish came true, because I just found an ad while I was editing this video. that Bernie just put out doing exactly that. Let's take a look.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Well, we've got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security. We're going to expand benefits.
So that's one avenue worth exploring. But just to reiterate, man, you can't play nice with these people or with the establishment. Yes, Bernie Sanders is doing great without having to get his hands so dirty. But still, I think that it's crunch time now, and simply stating his record, that's not being negative. Now, the way Joe Biden acts, going back to this video of him shouting at this reporter, I mean, come on, man. I can't even remember how many times we've talked about this. I think one of my first videos was about Joe Biden losing his cool at a reporter. What are you doing? Like I said, I'm trying to understand, yeah, we're all humans. We all have our limits. If you're running for president, you're getting hounded by reporters all day, every day. So sure, it can get to some people, but it's part of a pattern, And what bothers me the most is how he speaks to women, especially. What the hell is that? You didn't see that from any other candidate. So what is that? And I just don't like that he won't answer tough questions. It's not just about how he speaks. It's also what he's saying. He's never able to answer a tough question. He's unwilling to be held up to any kind of scrutiny, which speaks volumes about his personality, his record, his career as a politician. The people have had enough of establishment politicians, of corrupt representatives. And so the fact that he is not able to hack it in a 2020 election, man, it's not your time. Okay? God, I hope I'm right and he doesn't get that nomination. And the fact how he's so cold-blooded about it is Bernie Sanders, he apologized for someone calling me corrupt, but he didn't apologize about my record on Social Security, so I'm still going to attack him. Why should he apologize? Again, no one is lying. That's you. That's on you, Joe. That's your record. Oh, man. I really pity people who support Joe Biden. They are really living in an alternate reality where they just don't know what's going on. I really think they don't understand. So, as I've said before, if you know any older voters, because since that seems to be Joe Biden's base of support, you need to tell them that he is adamant about cutting Social Security. Just show him the clips. There's many of them, okay? You don't need more than 10 minutes to spend on it. If they still don't believe you after that, I mean, I can't help you. You can't help him. So there you go. Joe Biden doing what he does best, running away and shouting at people when they ask him tough questions.